So I'm really, really excited to introduce Shanelle to you today. Shanelle, her last name is Martens, and she is a wife, a mom, and an RN and a holistic health coach as well. So I have so much admiration for Shanelle. I just see the way she operates with her clients, with her family. She walks the walk and talks the talk. And so
oh, you're sweet.
I've learned so much from her. So today, I just asked Shanelle to come and join us. And so many of you have been asking me over the last, few months. You're always asking me, okay, Cheryl, what do you use for your veggie wash? What do you use, for your cleaners around the house? What supplements are you using? And I've been getting lots of questions about, what personal care products and beauty products. And over the years, I have been kind of picking and choosing from, lots of different companies because I couldn't find a really, really good, especially a makeup line and, various products for my skin and that. And I was just like, always looking for something new, like always trying something different. Didn't really find anything I really loved until I found Shanelle, and she told me about, just how we can detox our beauty routine even more than what I was doing, and where we can source these amazing products for that actually work. So I'm going to just get into just a little bit of information about why we are going to do a detox to begin with. We're all about making simple swaps, Shanelle, in our group. Especially in this group, it's all about the food swaps. So we swap out our pantries, we swap out our deep freezes and our freezers, and we gradually bring in, those healthier foods so that we can increase our nutrient level. And so good. We're doing that, with all areas of our life. We're doing kind of a detox of our mindset so that we can actually do all these things and create this healthy lifestyle. And then we're detoxing, the chemicals out of our house. So some of the reasons we want to do that is that those toxins are very, very unhealthy for us, causing all things like autoimmune diseases, allergies, various cancers, all kinds of health issues. And so many of you in this group are coming to me because you're in menopause and your hormones are all messed up. And a lot of these chemicals are hormone disrupting chemicals, which really can affect the way we feel and our mood and our, those hormone levels. And it really has an effect on our weight loss. We can really get stuck sometimes because of this toxic load. So Shanelle's going to take it from here. She's going to give us some background. She's going to talk about those chemicals that we really, really need to avoid. Just the top kind of 4 or 5 that we want to really avoid, and really teach us how to read a label. Just like we read labels for our food and our supplements. I've taught you all how to read the supplement label so that you know that you're getting whole food, safe, effective supplements. The same goes for our beauty and personal care products. So take it away, Shanelle.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your sweet words. I feel honored to be here. I know that Cheryl has been a huge light into so many of your guys' lives, and as well as mine. And so I'm so blessed to know her. And so, yes, what she said is true. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a nurse, I'm a holistic nutritionist, or a holistic health coach. I'm working up to holistic nutritionist. And I have been in the clean beauty movement for almost a year now, where we've been advocating for change. And so my story starts out like many of yours. You starting to question things. Maybe you started with some physical problems. I had some things when I was fresh out of high school and starting university that was happening in my life, in my body, and I was just starting to question, what was going into my body and what was going to help me heal and all these things. And so years ago, I started really looking at the products I was using. And it started with, I had a really horrible rash and I went to the doctor and he said he wanted to put me on 2 months of antibiotics. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I started really looking into what I can do to help detox my products and my body, which would hopefully help my body heal. And so I was able to find stuff that helped, and I was able to really learn the ingredients I was using. And so it's been years. It's taken years, and I've tried lots of different things. I've tried making my own. I've tried buying really expensive ones that were like well over a couple $100s a month. I've tried everything in between, and I just had a really hard time finding stuff that worked. I knew that some of the stats were not good, but when I really dove into it, I found out some of the real facts, and it really shocked me how much this influences our health. We know that there's around 85,000 ingredients that are being used right now in our products. These are anything from totally synthetic things to totally natural things straight from a plant, and all in between. And of those 85,000, in my mind, I thought, well, it makes sense that they should have all had to go through testing, but that's not the truth. Only about 20% of them have been tested, which leaves a lot of ingredients that are not tested, being used, and we're technically like the guinea pigs for it. They don't know what the long-term side effects are, and they don't really care. It's a money-driven industry that, there's no regulation. They're not held to any standard, so they don't care. And that is alarming, especially when it comes to our kids. That was where things really kicked it into high gear, was when I became a mom. And I've got this tiny little precious 6-pound baby boy in my arms. And I'm like, how do I protect you from the world, still teach you how to be a part of it, but not be damaged by it? Like, how do I do this? And so, as crazy moms do, we start, researching everything and looking into things. And it's not all a bad thing, but I wanted something that I could trust. And I wanted to be able to find products that I could trust, and knowing that they would not harm him and do what they needed to do, like shampoo and stuff, right? And so that I'm
yes. Sorry to interrupt, but
no, please interrupt.
Good point, Shanelle, because I don't know if I posted this in this group, but the study that has been done on that cord blood of those newborn babies, yes. They have found over 200, I think it's closer to 300 chemicals in the cord blood. Yes. To me, when I heard that is absolutely terrifying.
It is.
We can't get away from all of it. I mean, we're breathing it in. The latest thing that I heard was about the receipts that we get. Shanelle, have you heard that?
Oh, yeah,
they're
the
really,
BPA.
Really toxic, So
totally.
We're going to be exposed to some, but we can limit that exposure that we're exposed to, that our kids are exposed to. Totally,
especially that day to day, how often are we holding on to a receipt for any amount of time? Unless you're working at a cash register, probably not a lot. It's still something to be aware of, but it's not something to, be like, okay, well, should I be wearing gloves? But the shampoo, I mean, most people shower every day, every other day. That's a lot. You times that by every year, and especially if your system is damaged in any other way, your body has an even harder time of filtering that out. It's quite remarkable. And to go along with that study that you read, being a registered nurse, I saw, different articles, and one of them was that the average placenta has 10,000 toxic chemicals in it. 10,000. So if only 300 are getting to the baby, that's great. But the second that baby's out of the womb, they're getting those 10,000. That's crazy. That's crazy. And so I want to, be a part of making this better. And so the government is doing some work in regulating some, but we've got a long ways to go, especially in the U.S. In the U.S., they have about 30 ingredients banned or regulated, but they haven't touched that legislation in 80 years. That's a long time. That's a long time.
Just think of how many chemicals have been introduced.
Oh
in
my
80
gosh.
years, right?
Absolutely. They're creating new ones all the time in laboratories, and they're trying to find what's the best, what's going to help people to, stop aging, and what's going to work the best, that you don't have to reapply that lipstick for 24 hours and all this stuff. And so it's a money-driven, consumer-driven market. And so people want better, bigger all the time, and they're going to find that. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We know that those ingredients are going to be created eventually. And so Canada's doing a bit better than the US with some of those regulations. We have had, in the last 20 years, we've had a little bit of legislation go through, and we have around 600 ingredients banned or regulated, which is significantly better than the US. But we're needing about triple that. The European Union has 1,400, And the company that we're going to introduce here at the end that I specifically use and that you've been trying bans almost 1,700. And they're always moving towards like, what can we change with that? Is this one still unsafe? Is this one, you know, and that's remarkable, you know, to be able to find products that work but have such strict banning is just fantastic. So yeah, so good. Anyways, did you want to say something there?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's so interesting that you mentioned that, because I was talking to Sydney, and she's my kind of virtual assistant. She helps me with my marketing and that kind of thing. Beautiful young woman from Vancouver, but lives in Spain. And when she bought something, she just told me this week, she bought something and she went to, you know, read the ingredients on it, like it was a personal care product or whatever. And her fiance said to her, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you reading the ingredients or whatever? And he says, well, you don't have to do that here in Spain. Like, he says like all of those chemicals that we talked about have actually, you know, they're not in the products. So he says, we can just go into the, you know, into the drugstore or whatever and buy the products. It's like, wow, that's incredible. It was so interesting that just came up in our conversation. So it just fit really well in there.
I love that. And you know what? That's what I dream of. You know, I've got 2 little boys and they're going to be shaving one day. They're going to be, you know, doing their hair with hair gel and all this. And I want them to be able to go to wherever, pick one off the shelf, bring it home and use it. I mean, I'm going to have grandkids one day and all this. I know you're just starting that phase of life. You've got a little grandbaby and you want that to not be an issue, right? And it doesn't seem, it seems like a no-brainer, but right now we're still in the phase of working towards that. We still need to advocate for that. And we still need to approach our government and say, hey, this is what it is. And actually, Beauty Counter, they just released a number that we can text that immediately sends a message to our MP that says we want better laws regarding the beauty industry. Like, how cool is that? So cool. So cool. So anyways, I wanted to talk about some of these specific ingredients that you guys need to be aware of and ones that you want to be looking at your bottles and seeing. Because when I go to basically any place, you can pull up any Axe deodorant, or I don't want to name any names, but any men's products or women's products, and you're going to find these ingredients still in them. There's a long list. I mean, I'm not going to list 1,700. I'm not even going to list 10 because that's overwhelming. But we can get you a link to a couple different places where you can start looking up ingredients and the safety rating on these ingredients. But I want to talk about 4 specifically today that are some of the most common ones and some of the ones that, you know, just to start somewhere. You know, we're not looking for perfection. We want to start making some progress, simple swaps, just like Cheryl said. We want some simple swaps and start eliminating some of these ingredients. We're never going to be perfect. There's no perfect brand out there. Even water has stuff in it. So we want to just be doing better. And we know that our systems, they're amazing. Our systems were created perfectly, but they're not magic. We can't put whatever poisonous ingredients in our bodies and expect it to not damage over time. But we can filter some of those things. Our livers are amazing. And, you know, don't fret the tiny things, but if you can make some swaps, it's going to just, overall in the long run, you're going to just do better. And
so Shanelle, so when we think about making these swaps, just like I start with the carb swaps, because to me, that's going to be the most important to have the most impact. Right. One thing that we can think about is that look at the products that you actually use every day. And so you look at your frequency of use and look at, you know, how much of your body this product is covering. Like, you know, there can be a little bit of criteria there because it's like, okay, where do we start first? So that's kind of how I started first.
Totally.
Like, so once, you know, maybe you have that, some kind of lipstick or whatever, or like a eyeshadow that you just love, but you're only going to wear that maybe once a year. Like, let's say it's for a special occasion or whatever.
Totally.
You know, that you don't have to be quite concerned about. It's these things that we are using day in and day out, like constantly putting on our bodies. And I think the studies are showing that the average woman puts between 12 and 20 products on their body. So anybody that's watching right now, I want you to think about, what have you used on your body so far today? And, or, you know, by the time you go to bed tonight, after you've done your nighttime routine, how many products have you put on your body today? Like it's something we just don't even think about, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not just women. Studies are showing like men are using more products all the time. The beauty industry for men, or the grooming industry for men, is the fastest growing sector of the beauty market. So, I mean, our husbands, our sons, our nephews, our brothers, our dads, right? Like they're using stuff too. And so it's remarkable how this really impacts everybody. So it's totally true. And, making a small list, like, okay, your shampoo, your conditioner, your shave cream, your body lotion, and your foundation. Those are the ones that you're like, okay, I use those all the time. Like, let's start looking at swapping those out. And exactly like you said, Cheryl, we don't want to, scare you or anything to think, well, you need to throw everything out. Let's start fresh. You might feel like you want to do that. And if that's that's your personality and you can do that, by all means do that, but you don't have to do that. That's a lot. That's overwhelming. So, so some of the top ones to look for, we as women, and I mean, if there's any men watching, hormones guide our bodies. They're the most important, one of the most important things that happens in our bodies. And our hormones are very delicate, and the biofeedback mechanism that our bodies have to tell our body, make more, stop production. Okay, you can slow that here. That's a very delicate system. And there is a lot of things that can mimic hormones, and especially estrogen. There are ingredients called xenoestrogens, and xenoestrogens are synthetic estrogens, essentially. And so these are actually really common in a lot of things. Non-organic food, pretty much all pesticides are a xenoestrogen. And that's, that can add up, of course, too. And we're not going to talk about food today, but that's, of course, something to be aware of. Plastics, having plastic water bottles, microwaving food in plastic, storing food in plastic, that all leaches xenoestrogens into your food. And then also your beauty products. Parabens are one of the most common as xenoestrogens. There's other ones. There's some other ones in sunscreens and stuff like that. But parabens specifically, anything with the ending paraben, you're going to want to eliminate. Methylparaben, ethylparaben. And so getting, when parabens get in our body, they are not biodegradable. They store and they store in fat. And so for people that are losing a lot of weight, you're going to be releasing tons of parabens into your system. And so it's just something to be very aware of when you are, losing weight, to detox and stuff like that. But it's remarkable how these impact us. Like it's actually crazy. So without getting too sciencey, all of our cells have receptors on them. And so, let's say there's a cell, here's a cell anywhere in your body. Estrogen's not just for, our sexual organs. They're for bones and blood clotting and all that. So anyway, some cell has some receptors. And normally, estrogen comes and it binds and it does what it needs to do. But regular estrogen is biodegradable, so it can release and it can be biodegraded and it can be recreated into other things and all these things. But xenoestrogens are not. They lock into that receptor site and they don't want to move. And so it tells our body, well, we don't need more estrogen, but it still isn't getting done when it needs to get done. So it's all confused and it starts releasing higher levels of estrogen and it just creates chaos. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal, not just for women's bodies, but for men's bodies too. They've shown that estrogen levels being out of whack is one of the leading causes of deficient and dysfunctional sperm. And the last study I just read, I was telling Cheryl both the other day, that 90% of sperm is now dysfunctional and disfigured. 2 heads, 2 tails, too short, too long. That's crazy. And that's not only causing infertility problems, but cancer problems, diabetes, obesity, infertility, endometriosis. Like the list goes on. And it's just one ingredient can have this crazy trickling effect through our bodies. And so making sure that your products have no parabens in them, and there's other xenoestrogens, but specifically the parabens are one of the most common ones. And so that was one that I flipped over my bottles and I was like, parabens in this, and it's in a lot of stuff. It's in a lot of stuff. It's a preservative. And so super important to eliminate that one. So is there something you want to say about that?
No, it's okay. Keep going.
It's all good. Okay, sounds good. Another one that I want to talk about is fragrance. Now, fragrance, if you take nothing out of this whole video, but to take fragrance out of your diet, even more so than the parabens, fragrance is a ghost ingredient. Fragrance can be any number of up to 3,000 ingredients, and the company never has to disclose what it is. And so that is really alarming when you think about how much that could be. That could be anything. We have no idea what it could be. And so fragrance is one of the ones that it's in everything from candles and this and that, and breathing it in, putting it on our bodies day in and day out, on our kids' bodies. I mean, Johnson & Johnson, I don't want to, like, I don't want to name all names, but the most common baby washes that they have in hospitals, they're hospital approved. And you're putting this on this tiny little delicate newborn skin, and it's soaking it all in. We know that what goes on our body goes directly into the bloodstream. And that's even scarier than what we ingest, because when we ingest things, our bodies get the chance to determine, are we going to absorb this or are we not? And it has to go through the liver, which is a filtering organ. It's going to detoxify. Going right on the skin, it's like an injection. It's going right in the body. It's going right in that bloodstream. It doesn't get filtered out.
Well, when we think about like the nicotine patches and
yes,
the various patches that are used for like medications, the reason that they apply them to the skin is because that skin is efficient at absorbing it, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, like working in the medical field for a number of years, we use fentanyl patches all the time. Well, fentanyl, I mean, everyone's seen it in the news. Fentanyl is a very potent drug, very potent, and it can cause death very shortly because it's so potent. And they use, fentanyl patches for pain control. They put them all over, and it's exactly right. It goes right into the bloodstream. It's very fast acting. And that's the same thing about with the products going on our skin. And then they're staying on our skin all day, We're putting our makeup on, it's staying on our skin. We're putting our lotion on, it's staying on our skin. And so fragrance, eliminate everything with fragrance. And if you absolutely want to know, okay, what is this fragrance? Because, there are companies out there that put the ingredients of the fragrance. Some of them don't. Some of them put perfume or whatever. Call that company, email them. What ingredients do you put in your fragrance? What ingredients are they? And if they won't tell you, I wouldn't be using that product any longer. I would be very careful to use that product. And if they'll tell you, great. Look at what that is.
Yeah, like if it's an essential oil or something like that, then you
absolutely
know, okay, this is okay.
Absolutely. Because some of the products that I use, like my kids' baby bath stuff, it has a scent to it, but it's just essential oil. So you know that that's okay. You know that that's not harmful. So very, very good. Another one I want to talk about is retinol, or it's retinol palmitate. It's vitamin A, synthetic vitamin A. Are you hearing feedback from my scarf hitting my mic?
Nope.
Okay, good. I thought I was hearing it, and then I'm like, I feel like I'm constantly adjusting.
Unless our guests are.
Okay, yeah.
You can let us know if you are.
I'll just keep adjusting. I'm just so cold. I'm like this big fuzzy scarf on. Retinol. Retinol is one that it's really funny to me because a lot of companies will advertise they use retinol. Vitamin A on the skin, retinol is shown to really dramatically help aging. And so it's a very common ingredient in high-end skincare. But it's been proven, and it's actually rated quite high on the EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group. That's a great website. Check your products against the EWG. And it's rated very high on there for causing problems because it is shown to increase tumor growth, skin cancer growth, essentially. And that's a big deal. Skin cancer is one of the most common cancers. And using something, it's going to cause rapid skin cell turnover for healthy cells and on the unhealthy cells. And if it's causing rapid cell turnover for cancerous cells, that's a big deal. And so, it's some people think, oh, it's just vitamin A. It's just vitamin A. And it is, but when it's shown to cause harm, even a natural thing can cause harm. Mm-hmm. And you can take vitamin A synthetically and it's not shown to cause problems in the body. Of course, whole food vitamins, always better, always, always better. You're going to assimilate more. It's coming from a natural source. Your body's going to recognize it quicker. But vitamin A synthetic is not shown to cause harm internally, but on the skin it is. And so when there's something better that you can use, why not, right? Like that's, if you are so, you're wanting results, there's something there's products out there you can find that work, that don't cause harm. So that's another one. Check your products against retinol palmitate, or vitamin A, because that's a big one. Vitamin A can still be in some products, naturally occurring vitamin A, from plants and stuff like that, but it will be very low doses and it won't be called retinol or retinol palmitate. So just check for that one. Mm-hmm. And then the last one I want to talk about today is a naturally occurring ingredient, which makes this one so, I guess, inconspicuous, is formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a naturally occurring thing. And, a lot of people know formaldehyde. It preserves dead bodies. It's, preserves, different specimens for dissection in laboratory. Frogs, totally. Yep, in high school, and we all had to dissect those. And in nursing school, I had to dissect a number of different animals and different animal parts. And of course, they have that very potent smell. That's formaldehyde. And formaldehyde is, interestingly enough, another ingredient used to decaffeinate coffee. So check your coffee if it's being decaffeinated with formaldehyde. But
so it is the swap for that would to be buy the Swiss water decaffeinated, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Or chicory root or something. Trying a coffee alternative. There's lots of great ones out there. But so formaldehyde. So this is where if you're looking at a label and you've got a product and it says on it green or natural or organic or all these things, those words actually don't really mean much. Those words aren't regulated in this industry, and it's called greenwashing. And so it's basically making you think, it's washing your brain, making you think that it's safe or better or healthy, when it's actually, in fact, it's not. It's not any better. And those terms are not regulated. A company can put anything on their products without needing to prove anything, even things like mineral makeup. In order to be classified as mineral makeup, it has to have less than 1%. So that's not really an accurate term. So it's important to know what the ingredients are and to do your research on certain companies. And there are some great companies out there. I'm not saying everyone's, but just not trusting what they say on the label and really reading it. Just like with food. You don't read a bar that's called natural healthy granola bar and you flip it over and it's like sugar, refined, wheat flour, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, so what part of this is natural or healthy? Like, I'm just confused
like
here.
Even like the yogurts. I was doing a presentation for teenagers a couple weeks ago. So I was pulling up all these different things that teenagers like to eat and looking at all these labels on yogurt. And I mean, the way the front of the way that the packaging looks, it sounds like this is just going to be amazing. It's, it's got fortified with probiotics. It's got this and that, whatever.
How many servings of calcium and all,
and all this. And then you turn it over and on the label, some of them had 26 grams of sugar in a little, one that you would send to school with your kids for lunches or whatever. 26 grams. So that's like crazy. Six teaspoons of sugar, right, in that little yogurt.
And I know kids, like in high school, you'd take a pack of 4 and you'd take off all 4 lids at the same time. And they would just, these big muscular guys that are working out and they're doing sports. That's unbelievable.
Getting like 100 grams, like 100 grams of sugar right there, right?
Yeah, and you might as well have drank in a pop. Like, it's crazy.
So, the same thing with our food. Like, it's the greenwashing happens with our food too, right?
Absolutely. You know what? It's across so many markets because these markets are not in it to keep you healthy and safe. They're in it to make money. And some of them do it at all costs. And so you've got to weed through, what companies stand behind their products, what companies are transparent, what companies really do their best. Like we found a barbecue sauce the other day that the sweetener is honey. And you're just like, thank you. Thank you.
Wait, what brand was that, Shanelle?
It's called Dad's Famous Barbecue Sauce or something like that. It's in a bag. It's in a bag with a little spout. And it's just like, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it still isn't like amazing. It's not like the best thing you could ever eat. But it's better. And it's a better swap. And I mean, we go through like a barbecue sauce every like 2 years. So it's not like it's going to, we're not consuming this tons. But it's at least we have an option. It's like, it's just awesome. Better. It's just better, totally. So, anyways, back to the formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a known carcinogenic. Don't let it be on your body. Don't put it in your body. Just don't. It is a preservative, and it is naturally occurring. And formaldehyde has lots of different names too. It's not just, of course, they're not going to put formaldehyde on there. They're gonna hide it. And then there's other ingredients that can be contaminated with formaldehyde and all these other things. So those are some of the top ones. There's lots of other ones out there. PEGs. EDTA, phthalates, sulfates, like there's lots of them, but these are some of the big ones. And there is other bigger ones. And if you really want to dive into it, take a picture of your bottle and post it on the comments of this. And either Cheryl or I will see, and we'll be able to help you out determining, which ingredients of that are better, which ones are worse. Is it worth keeping? Is it worth keeping? One of the other ones, and actually this one's crazy, talc, which is common in a lot of powders, and talc on its own is not bad. It's fine. But a lot of talc is contaminated with asbestos. And so my husband today just heard this, and he was like, asbestos? And I'm like, yep. And a lot of these are, it's very cheap talc when it's contaminated with asbestos. So they're targeted towards little girls. It's like little girl makeup at the dollar store and these sorts of places. And it's just like, what? Like asbestos is a big deal, people. That's a big deal. And we're just, the government's just like, yep, that's fine, and especially if little girls' makeup is a big deal because it's often imported in as toys. It's not imported in as beauty products or as personal care products. So it's imported in as toys, which, they don't have very strict regulations. That's basically like, doesn't contain lead paint, great. And then it's getting on our little girls. And there's been lots of reports the last couple of years of kids ending up in the emergency room with burns on their body, chemical burns from kids' products. And, little girls, like, puberty is happening sooner and sooner all the time. Like, I remember when, like, I was going through school, it was like around 12, 13, but there's girls now, like 9, 10 is very common, 8 years old, 7 years old. And I'm just like, you're just a little kid. You're just barely out of being a toddler and you're hitting puberty. And that is 100% ingredients that are on and in our bodies, 100%.
Messing up the hormones.
Totally messing up the hormones. And then, then they're going on birth control pills right away because they're trying to regulate this period when they're 8 years old and they're on that and for 10 years. Like it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. But the more we know, we know better, we can do better. And that's what I really love about Beauty Counter. So Beauty Counter is the company that I've been working with for, it'll be a year in May. So almost a year. And Beauty Counter is doing things very differently. They are very, very transparent, which I love. They never tell everybody, oh, we have the perfect products, we've got the perfect ingredients. They always just say, we're never going to be perfect. We're going to do the best we can, and we're going to do as much as we can. We're never going to be perfect, but we're going to tell you guys along the way what's going on. And these are the ingredients we're not using, and they're the ones that have banned 1,700 ingredients, and they are working towards change. And so this is what really captivated my attention when I learned about Beauty Counter, is that a portion of the company is dedicated to just influencing government to make better laws in Canada and the US specifically. And so this is what I'm like, I really want to be a part of this. Like it took 30 years to get smoking off of airplanes. And as a mom and as someone who's been on, airplane a number of times, I'm just like, I cannot imagine bringing myself or my kids on an airplane with smoking. Like, doesn't that just blow your mind?
Totally.
But it took 30 years, and it took a mom. That's who started the whole getting smoking off airplanes. It was a mom. And she said, I am not okay with this. Enough is enough. But it wasn't just her voice. She needed thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people to stand with her, maybe millions. I don't know how many it took. People to stand with her and say, we're also not okay with this. What do we do to change this? And I want to be a part of the clean beauty movement. And I am a part of it. My voice is powerful, but it's not, I can't do it alone. We need more people to band together and go, okay, what are we going to do about this? Okay, you go talk to them. I'll go talk to them. And we get noisy. We're living in a democracy, and we need to get noisy about the things that we are passionate about and the things that we want change. We don't have to be rude. Of course, we're not rude, or we're not pushy, or we're not trying to step outside of our boundaries. But as consumers, we deserve to know what's in our products, and we deserve to be a part of deciding what is allowed and what's not allowed, especially for kids. But that is what was so unique to me about Beauty Counter. As far as I know, they're the only company that is working towards that change. And so this year they actually have a trip that consultants can earn to go to Ottawa and sit down at a big table. And this is what I'm picturing, a big table with a bunch of members of parliament and other government officials, and presenting to them what we want banned, what is going on. We know that the rates of cancer are terrible. They're 1 and 2 right now. That is crazy. That is bonkers. And I won't stand for it. I'm going to do what I can to prevent that. If not for myself or my generation, then for my kids and their generation, because that's just not okay. And as a nurse, I've seen people get sicker and sicker. The rates of autoimmune disease on the rise. The rates of having trouble getting pregnant and staying pregnant on the rise. We have, like, as humans, we have worse infertility rates than livestock do. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, and we're supposed to be these all smart, all powerful. And then we don't. Like, I have so many friends that can't get pregnant, that lose babies, that have miscarriages after miscarriages. And it's just, what's going on here? What's going on? This is not okay. And we're getting to the head of this mountain where we have to decide, we have to make a decision what we stand for. And I have no problems putting my money where my mouth is and purchasing products that are safe and getting behind studies that are doing what they can to prove some of these things. And it's just, we need more and more people, and everyone means everyone, you know, like this company doesn't exclude anybody. They've got products for kids and babies and men, like our men's products. This is the one of the ones that I just had sitting beside me here, the Counter Man. You know, men need safe products too. They're at even worse rates of cancer than as women. And especially too, because they often have different ingredients they're exposed to at different jobs that men are in. And it's just crazy. So it's important that we band together. It's important that we stand for what we believe in.
Yeah. I mean, just like the way that we just think of what's happened even at Costco, let's say over the last couple of years. You know, a couple of years ago, there was hardly any organic food in Costco, right?
Yes.
But
totally.
Consumers are changing what's on the shelf in Costco because we are wanting the organic. Like, so every time I go in there, I'm just so excited because it's like, okay, just a while ago, they started bringing in black beans, cases of organic black beans. They have cases of tomato sauce now that's organic. All the different produce that we can find now, like the fruit and stuff like that. It's like when we speak with our dollar, the companies follow suit. The companies start, you know, we're going to see more and more of this. And what I love about this company is they are not just doing this for themselves. Like, they are pushing for changes with the legislation so that everybody can be safer, so that we can walk into Walmart or Shoppers Drug Mart or wherever, and our kids and us can buy anything on the shelf and we know it's going to be safe. That is just huge to me.
Totally. And years ago when I was looking for stuff, you know, I tried thousands of dollars of stuff. When we were talking about the $1,000 drawer.
Who has
how many of us
drawer?
Yes. Oh. How many of you went and bought that one thing and you tried it a couple times and you were like, this isn't working for me. So you threw it in the drawer.
Various eye creams and you know, cleansers and different masks. I mean, I had a $1,000 drawer because I tried a couple times. My skin would react to it. It's, you know, it would be sitting in the drawer. Like, totally. Wasted so much money.
And I had makeup that my mom had from like the 80s. Like, what? And I finally just got my garbage and I just pitched on. I took a picture of it and I like shared it with my friends. And I'm like, you guys, I'm doing this. Like, I have to. A, why would I keep it? Because I've got something that I love. B, it's so bad for me. Like, it's just crazy. And so that was something that I found was really difficult to find. And I don't know if you found this was something that was safe but worked. You know, like that I found really difficult. It was one or the other. And that's why I was so happy to find Beauty Counter, because it was safe and it worked. You know, it's used on celebrities. There's makeup artists that work on celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow and Reese Witherspoon and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Like, a lot of them are using Beauty Counter, and you know that it works.
It's the #1 trending beauty brand. So it really is.
Oh my gosh.
It's so awesome to see that people want clean beauty. Like, just like people want the organic food and they're paying more attention. Yes. So that
Totally.
part is awesome. And I love the fact that they have a storefront in New York.
Yes,
That's
yes.
so cool.
We're
And I hear
hoping
that
for
there's
one in
gonna be
Canada
more.
next year.
That's
We're hoping for one in
incredible.
Canada. We're working on Calgary. I'm close to Calgary. I'm hoping for Calgary, but if not, it might be Toronto or
One of the bigger
Vancouver,
centers.
one of the bigger
I'm
centers.
sure
Yeah,
it won't
but
be Regina.
probably not.
We
But
might have
you
to
never
wait
know.
for a while.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. But it's cool. And then even like, it just like with Costco. Every time I leave Costco, they have a little like comment box, and I write on there, please bring in, and the things that I'm hoping for them to bring in: organic coconut milk, like whole fat coconut milk, and more organic apples. Like they had a long time in our Costco that we didn't have organic apples. There was like 8 varieties of apples, but none of them are organic. And I'm like, this is like top of the dirty dozen list.
Yeah.
I need organic apples, or I'm not going to buy apples here at all. And then they brought them back in, and then it does.
Yeah.
It moves things when we put our dollars there and our voice there. And that is exactly what Beauty Counter is doing. And so I'm so blessed to work with this company. I'm so blessed that I can impact people and that I can help educate people. I am like education first, and that's what Beauty Counter does all the time. We're an education first company. If someone comes to us and they learn something, regardless of whether they purchase stuff, that we've done our job. And I feel like I've done my job as an educator and as a friend and as a mom and all these things. I want people to just know better. I want them to know. And even if right at that moment they are still weighing it out, it's planted a seed, and it's starting to, change. The next time they go to purchase something, they're going to remember, what was it she said about that? No fragrance. Okay, let me find a fragrance-free one at least. Great, and that's a start. It's not perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but it's a start. So starting today, going to that $1,000 drawer, ladies, gentlemen, go to that $1,000 drawer, go to your cabinet, open it up, get a basket, and start sorting. And you know what? It took me a long time to be able to throw those things out. I thought, well, maybe I could sell them. Well, maybe I could give them to a friend. And I just got so sick of it to the point one day that I was like, but no one should have to use this. So it's going in the garbage. And I took that picture, and it was painful, but then it felt freeing. And I opened that drawer now, and I've got the things that I love, that I use, that work great, that I know are safe, and I can use them with confidence. I don't have to think about it anymore.
And you probably really streamlined how many things you have now.
Oh my gosh, so streamlined. Like stuff like, I just happen to have a few things beside me from another video call I did, but the cleansing balm. Cleansing balm is like so many things in one, like a cleanser, a makeup remover, an overnight mask. I can use it on my kids' cheeks, dry lips. If I get really dry heels or hands, it's like so many things in one that I love that I don't have like 6 products. It's like, this is the one. And I know it's going to work. I know it's safe. I don't have to question it. I just go get it. And even my 3-year-old, Mommy, do I need some cleansing balm? I'm like, sure, buddy, let's go get it, And I don't have to, things like, lip gloss. I used to keep them up high all the time because I didn't want my kids getting into them, because how many kids like get into a lip gloss and they'll start, like, they love the smell of it. They want to eat it. And it just terrified me. I thought, oh my gosh, what is he eating? And then it was like one day I'm like, but I'm still using it. Like, right? Doesn't that seem funny? And so now I just leave them everywhere, and I don't care, because even if he does put it on a little bit and he's got some sparkly stuff on his face, it's not hurting him. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it. So that's super awesome.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Maybe I'll just open it up to questions. Do you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah,
Shanelle?
absolutely. I can't see the comments. I don't know if I can see the
questions. That's watching. You can just let us know. And maybe while we're waiting for questions, I want to just start by saying thank you so much to Shanelle for taking her time away from her busy little family over there to come and join us. It's just awesome to be able to collaborate with other health coaches.
Yes.
And what I love about it is that, of course, you guys know that my specialty is like hormonal women, menopausal women, and the busy families. That's my kind of area of expertise. And I have met so many amazing health coaches like Shanelle, and we all seem to have that little niche area that we really can specialize. It's just like, a doctor, when, like my son, okay, he's specializing in radiation oncology. That's his specialty. His wife is is a specialist in family medicine. So just like a health coach, we can't know everything on every single level, just like our doctors. A lot of us will kind of focus in on, because there's only so many hours in a day to do the studying and everything, and all the latest studies and things like that. So it's so awesome when we can collaborate together and just spending 15-20 minutes even with Shanelle. I learn something every time, and she learns from me, like for her menopausal clients that she might be coming in contact with or whatever. So it's so cool that I can bring these amazing people to you. So I thank you so much, Shanelle. You have a way of making this so easy to understand, and I love your enthusiasm. It's really, really contagious to me. So now we will kind of leave this conversation open in this group. And if you guys want to post any of the pictures of your labels or anything, Shanelle will be in here to answer questions too. Yeah. But I also wanted to invite you to an event that I'm going to have. We're going to have on Sunday night at 7:30. We're going to do it's called a social, and so it's just called Cheryl's Clean Beauty Night, and it's we're going to do it inside Facebook. What is it called? What are those? I'm sending is it a party? I don't know what it's called.
Well, it's a Facebook event.
It's a
Facebook event. Yes.
Event.
Yes.
So if you want to come, this is kind of what we're going to cover on Sunday night. We'll be doing a live again, right, Shanelle?
Yeah.
In that group. And I'm going to talk about some of the foods that we can be eating during the day to really bring that, to start the beauty from the inside out, which we do in Simple Swaps. But I'm going to give some tips on that. And then Shanelle is going to talk more about the Clean Beauty Detox and probably show a lot more products, things like that.
Yeah, totally.
I'm actually going to give, as a real bonus for you guys, I'm going to give you a Clean Beauty detox meal plan for a week. So when Shanelle was talking about, those xenoestrogens, that are in our body that have been stored in the fat, what are some foods we can be eating? What are some meals we can be making to really help flush this out of our body? So I just decided that last night. I'm like, I need to do a meal plan for this. This is going to be awesome.
So good.
And then we're going to have some, prizes and giveaway. And I mean, the main focus is education. It's fun and education. So if you want to come, just either send me a private message or comment below. And then I will make sure I send you an invite, because it's a private event. And so you won't be able to get in without an invite from me. So if you want to come, it's 7:30 on Sunday night. So Shanelle and I will both be there again. So
perfect. It's going to be really fun. And you know what? It can be daunting to want to switch things over, or, regardless of where you're at and what you use now. I was always like a super basic girl, like wash my hair, cream on my face, bar of soap, maybe a chapstick. Like I really kept it to the bare minimum, maybe mascara. And it was mostly because I really didn't trust products and I didn't know what I was doing. And so I love helping people find what's going to work for them in a really simple regime that's going to, you're going to enjoy washing your face before you go to bed. And you're just going to enjoy that side of things. It's fun to feel feminine and pretty. It's fun to use products that you love, like putting lip gloss on. Those days where that's all I get. I'm a busy mom, business owner, all these things. I don't always have time to do my hair and makeup, right? And that's okay. Lip gloss, though, makes me feel good. And then when I feel good, I just do my best for my kids. And I feel that, do the best for my clients. I just feel better. And I love that side of it too, just helping people feel really good about themselves, because when we're eating really good things, it's awesome to show it too, right? And our skin's our biggest organ. I think we forget about it so much because we take it for granted. We get a cut and it heals itself, it seems, overnight. And yet we treat it really badly sometimes with what we don't do for it. And so doing like a detox week of different foods and drinking lots of water and all that is so huge. So I'm really excited for that too. I'm sure I'm going to learn some stuff.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me, Shanelle. And thank you for
having me
too that's been online today listening. If you're catching the replay, let me know. I know most of you are probably still at work. So when you catch the replay, let me know. And just comment below, send me a message. Let us know if you want to come to that event. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. So thank you, awesome. Chanel. You take care.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
You too. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.